Hello, everyone. Welcome to Street Politics with Talisha. I just wanted to chime in on Jim Acosta and President Trump yesterday. Now, it's not obvious that they both are not fans of each other. But listen, you are a president, you are a journalist. So, before I even get into anything, let me give you the definition of a journalist: a person who writes for a newspaper, magazine, or news website or prepare news to be broadcast. So in the White House pool, you go in there and you ask questions. You know, it'd be a lot of people in there. Probably let you ask one or two questions or a follow up. But if it's a lot of people in there, they let you ask one question. Now, a lot of these journalists are going in there making it about them so they can be the next news cycle. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just reporting, go in there, ask your question. President Trump, why did you use white nationalists? But when you be combative and try to go, you lose focus of the question. You go in there, you're supposed to ask question that the American people or different stuff that broke off in the news that you want to ask for. Jim Acosta go in there every time and grandstand and make it about him. But I also have to say, President Trump, he don't make it any better. Because the news is not to come in there and ask questions that you like. You stand up, you ask your question, and you move on. President Trump, he has to get better at just, answering questions that he don't like, because the press is not there to like you. But see, Jim Acosta, it's a whole nother playing field with that man. He goes in there every time he want to make it about him. Now you don't got your press badge revoked, which any president can do. I should have looked up and see have other presidents ever banned somebody from the White House pool. But see, you gotta look. You did that to I don't know if y'all heard me. I'm sorry. You did that to yourself. You have to take some responsibility for yourself. When he told you, even though he might have been wrong with telling you he didn't want to answer your question, saying this and saying that, okay, I get that. But when the lady went to go grab the mic from you, you were supposed to give her the mic. You going back and forth. The lady doing her job trying to get her mic and you going back and forth. If he's not going to answer your question, why do you continue to stand there as if he about to answer your question? That's what I'm saying. Making the news cycle more about you. Go in there, ask questions that the American people want to ask, and move on. But a lot of those journalists, y'all standing there and ask the same question. How many times would y'all want him to word the stuff different? If one of y'all asked about him, about the nationalist comments, why 5 more of y'all answer the same question? I'm pretty sure everybody want to ask different questions. Like, come on now, y'all need to go back to being journalists and stop trying to make the news and make the news about you. I would have been banned Jim Acosta. And sorry to say this, April, you next. I'm telling you right now. You on the thin line skating with that man because y'all don't understand. Listen, go in there, be a journalist. Not go in there to be the next 5 minutes of fame on TV. Like, it's questions that the American people want to know, but we can't even get that because you go in there and make the news about you. But President Trump, you need to have tough skin when they ask you questions that even though you might not like or it might be offensive, you have to answer the question and move on. Like, this is just getting out of hand. Like, this is just ridiculous. And it's nothing that Jim Acosta can do about getting his badge took, because he can ban anybody he want to do, but you caused that on yourself. You have been making this news all about you since day one. But President Trump need to work on when people ask him questions that he don't like, you answer the question and move on. You know what they come in there to do, to make you trip up and say something so it can be the next news cycle. If I was you, I'd do like other presidents do. Don't hold no news conference. Go on there, stand from the podium, make your news conference. Say what you want to say and exit the building. That'll cut out all that stuff with them journalists. You ain't got to, it's nothing in the law that say he has to address the press for them to ask questions. You can go in there, state what you're going to say, and move on for your agenda for the day. That's what you should do. Then it'll cut down a lot of that confusion. Nobody get to make a grandstand no more or nothing. So that's just my advice on Jim Acosta. Like you, that was a long time coming from you. I'm surprised that it lasted this long and they didn't ban you. So those are my thoughts. I was just chiming in for a minute to tell you that, and I'm gonna come back later because I want to address the Supreme Court justice was just have with Ruth or whatever. I wish she well. You know, she fell and broke some ribs. I want her to get well. She's 85 years old, and everybody know when you break stuff at that age, it'd be hard to heal. I have a grandmother. When she fell, she wasn't even 80 something. She was like 70 something, and my grandmother fell because she broke her hip, and she never healed from that. You know what I'm saying? I know Ruth. I'll just talk about that on another thing, but that's all I want to do is chime in on that about Jim Acosta, what he calls on himself, and he really need to apologize for that to that lady. She was just doing her job. You see, she came over there to get the mic from you. Just handed it to her, and you could have just went on from there. See you all. I'll check back in with y'all later.